Peace, assalamu alaikum, hotel, grand rising, praise God, what's up, what's happening, or whatever it is that you subscribe to. I just got finished putting that work in, gotta put some more work in, cause I gotta get my page popping, you understand me? So I got a story I'm gonna tell y'all about. No Diddy G and Lil Iron, they wasn't calling him Lil Iron at first. Lil Iron, he earned that name, so to speak. But his name was David. That's what everybody was calling him until they started calling him Lil Iron. And I'm gonna tell y'all why they started calling him Lil Iron in a minute. No Diddy G, he was a gangster, but he was laid back, meaning he wasn't on camp, meaning he wasn't plugged in because he ain't have like a year or two left before he go home. No Diddy G was locked up for probably about 5 or 6 years at the time, and you could tell No Diddy G was a dope boy on the streets. He had a mouthful of gold, he was real tall, kinda healthy, and he always talked that slick talk, like he like he a pimp or something, you know what I mean? That slick talk, like don't let me catch you slipping, I'ma slide, and all that type of talk. But No Diddy G, he was from the GTA area, but I really can't remember exactly where he was from because No Diddy G, he ain't stay on his own for about 3 weeks, maybe a month before what happened to him, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But like I said, he from the GTA. I can't remember the town. I can't remember if it was Tupelo, Starkville, West Point, or Aberdeen. What else in the GTA? I really can't remember. It's one more town I'm missing, but I can't think of it right now. But anyway, David was on his own first. We in Marshall County, and David is from a little small country town called Rolling Fork. I think that's the name of it. But it's in the Delta. I hope y'all can hear me because I'm driving. Y'all gonna have to ride with me today. Rolling Fork, I think it's in the Delta. I really can't remember if it was in Indianola or Rolling Fork. It was it was a small town he was from. And you know, he always talked about baseball. So me and Lil David, we used to talk all the time. And it was really an unfortunate situation why David was in the penitentiary. Now at this time, David had been locked up about 4 years. He did a lot of time in the county jail because you know he was a young dude when he got locked up. He was 17, and you know I guess they kind of sympathized with him. But when he caught his charge, you know he was raised by a single mother, and when he caught his charge, you know she couldn't afford no attorney, so he had a state appointed attorney. And it's really crazy because had he had a paid lawyer, he probably wouldn't have got no time. They probably would have, you know, just slapped him on the wrist because of the situation. And it's really unfortunate. Like, it's crazy how, like, the court system, they know when a situation is unfortunate, but by his mom, by them not having no money, like by them being poor, I mean, it's something they can do, but they don't do it because they don't got no money. And the system crazy like that. I mean, it's really sad at the end of the day because you know this young man, the situation that got him in prison. I mean, you know the circumstances, but I'm gonna tell the story because, like I said, me and David used to talk all the time, and he told me one night we were talking, drinking on a sexy baby. And for those who don't know what a sexy baby is like it's coffee, cream, a Snicker bar, a hot chocolate. You know, it's the most stuff some people put in, but I ain't really just too much take it to the extreme, adding all these ingredients, because that shit'll send you to the toilet fast. You know what I mean? So we sitting up drinking a sexy baby one night, and we just talking, and I just asked him like, David, what you locked up for, bro? I mean, I knew what he was locked up for, but I didn't know the story. So he ran the story to me like, man, you know, I'm from the projects. You know what I mean? I'm raised by a single mother. I'm from the projects. Don't know my daddy. Never seen him a day in my life. But let me say this. Let me go to a commercial break if I may. Just because a dude grew up in the projects, that don't make him no thug. Like, you got a lot of dudes in the project that didn't gravitate to that lifestyle, maybe because they seen so many people go to jail or so many people get unalived, you know, living that lifestyle. And like I said, David was always talking about baseball. He was a baseball player, and he was telling me that, you know, he had, before he caught this charge, he had the potential to get a scholarship to go to Alcorn State to play baseball. So I'm saying, like, the stereotype about all ghetto babies or guys that grew up in the project, like they automatically a thug or automatically a gangster or automatically a drug dealer, that ain't the case. That ain't the case. And that wasn't the case with David. So he telling me that his mom was messing with this guy, and they was messing around for a few months before he realized the guy was putting hands on his mama. You know what I mean? And when he caught his charge, he was 17. So you know, he never did. He didn't witness it. He didn't see the man put hands on his mama. But his mama used to be crying all the time. Like when he come home from school or he come home from baseball practice, and he'll ask his mom what's wrong, and she'll tell him, you know, nothing. You know what I mean? But anyway, he say one night he came home from playing street ball. And that's another thing I don't see kids doing today. Like, when I was growing up, bro, I mean, you had Nintendos, you had Ataris, but that didn't keep us in the house. And then, you know, mama gonna make you go outside and play, you know what I mean? So, I mean, we grew up playing baseball and football and basketball in the streets. You know, we ain't sit in the house and watch TV and play on the game. You know, time just changed. But anyway, so he said he came home one day, and her boyfriend was there, and when he walked in the house, you know, her boyfriend was roughing her up, had her pinned up against the wall. So he said, get your hands on my mama, get your hands on my mama. You know, he want to protect his mom, you know what I mean? Rightfully so, because I probably would have done the same thing. So he said, dude was drunk, and he went to cussing him out, like, I'll beat your ass, and all this. So he said he ran to the kitchen and got a knife. He said, get your hands on my mama and get out of my house. So he was saying the dude was like, tell your son you my beat. You my beat. And so David was like, man, you need to go on, get up out the house. He got the knife in his hand. He said he was shaking real bad. He was nervous. He said he didn't want to do it, but he said dude started coming towards him, and he said he just hit him. He would say he hit him in the shoulder, hit him one time in the face, and then he dropped the knife and he ran out the house. And he said the dude You know, he said his mom was crying or whatnot. But he said the dude ended up calling the police, and when he came back home, you know, the police was at his house, and then, you know, his mom was telling him, you know, everything gonna be all right. You know, when they put him in handcuffs. So you know, he had an aggravated assault charge. That's what they charged him with. And I said previously that the court system, had he had an attorney, he probably could have beat that charge, because, you know, this man messing with this man beating up on this man's mama. Like, where's the justice in sending this man to prison, all because his mom couldn't afford an attorney? So I'm like, dang, bro, that shit crazy as hell. And, you know, he like, yeah, bro, he like, you know, I really don't even supposed to be in here like this, you know what I mean? He said, I did that because I was trying to protect my mom. He was like, and I was like, man, you know, I would have done the same thing, you know what I mean? And it was just unfortunate that he was in the penitentiary around all these wolves, man, you know what I mean? So, you know, like I said, me and David used to talk all the time. So fast forward, no Diddy G come on his own. And David had been on his own probably about 6 months. And everybody rocked with David. Like, he wasn't affiliated. Everybody rocked with David because he was real cool, you know what I mean? Like, he mingled and talked with everybody, you know. And at the time he was probably about 20, 21 years old. Like I said, he did a lot of time in the county jail, and they gave him a 10-year sentence. So he had to bring that 10 to the door. But anyway, no Diddy G with his funny acting self, he fall on his own. Like I say, with all that slick talk, don't slip, I'ma slide and all that. You know what I mean? And he had a lot of homeboys from the GTA on his own. And even though he was laid back, he wasn't on count, he wasn't plugged in, you know, they still looked at him as a G, still, you know, greeted him as a G, you know what I mean? So I'm calling him no Diddy G, because he was on some Diddy type stuff. You know what I mean? So one day I'm sitting on my rack reading. I'm always reading, because, you know, I gotta stay ahead. Knowledge is power and ignorance is bliss. And 9 times out of 10, all these niggas on his own is ignorant. And, you know, I'm gonna always win. You know what I mean? So I'm always reading. So I'm on the rack, I'm reading. And while I'm reading, I'm always observing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always paying attention to what's going on, even though I act like I'm not paying attention, but I'm reading at the same time. You know, I can multitask. You know what I mean? So one day, I'm on my rack reading, and I hear people say, "Man, what the hell?" And then I hear some people laughing, and then I hear some people saying, "Ain't no way." But they looking towards the shower. So my rack is damn near by the shower, but my back is face the shower, and I'm facing the tower. I'm facing the windows. I'm facing, you know, the zone, the open bay zone. So I don't want to turn around and look in the shower, but I did anyway. Something just told me to, you know what I mean, turn around and look. So I turned around and looked, and David is wiping no Diddy G back with the side with the towel in the soap. So I mean, like, that's crazy. But me knowing David, I'm knowing he don't mean it in no funny way. So, you know, in the shower, in the shower, you know, cats be talking, you know what I mean? So you can hear them talking in the shower, but you know, people ain't paying attention to what they talking about. And knowing no Diddy G, you know, trying to be slick, he just trying David just to see if he gonna do it. And so, you know, David washing the man back with the soap and the towels. So I turn back around, I'm like, man, God dang, that shit crazy. But like I said, I'm knowing David don't mean it in no, you know, in no funny type of way. I mean, he wasn't no street dude, you know what I mean? So he probably wasn't even conscious of the fact, like, you in prison and you can't do stuff like that, you know what I mean? You just can't, I mean, that just ain't something you, even in the world, like, you just don't, if it ain't your son, or if it ain't, you know what I mean, somebody who's sick and you take care of them, you just don't, you don't do, that ain't a good look, you know what I mean? So, when he get out the shower, you know, after he put his clothes on and whatnot, you know, I call him to the rack. You know, I'm talking to him, trying to see where his head at, and I'm like, bro, you know, I know you don't mean no harm, but why you do that? You know what I mean? He was like, man, he asked me to do it. I ain't see nothing wrong with it. So I'm like, bro, you in prison, bro. Like, you don't do that. I said, nah. Everybody on the zone was cool with you. Everybody on the zone was rocking with you. Nobody gave you any problems. Nobody was trying to treat you like you was a peon. Like, people had respect for you because you just being yourself. You wasn't trying to be somebody that you ain't. You know what I mean? Like, you get more respect like that than you coming in and trying to be somebody that you ain't. You know what I mean? So he was like, man, I feel you. I said, now, what's about to happen is people about to start trying you, because some people think, and I ain't telling him this, I'm telling it to myself, me being in prison for some years, knowing how people operate. Some people finna try you because they think you soft. They think you weak because they witness you washing another man back in a penitentiary. And you just can't do that. You know what I mean? So anyway, so a few days go by, and you know, I noticed no Diddy G always talking to David and playing with David, harsh playing, probably getting his feels off with his Diddy self, nasty self. He probably getting his feels off while he harsh playing. You know what I mean? Probably getting his rocks off. Just being trifling. You know what I mean? And I noticed no Diddy G. He would say certain things in a playing way, but me knowing how guys think in prison, he meant it. And everybody on the zone watching it, knowing that he meant it. You know what I mean? He just showing off for everybody on the zone so people can get some laughs and, you know, call David, you know, a peon or a homosexual or weak, and, you know what I mean? Different things like that. And so it went on for a while. He telling David to take his food to the microwave, and, you know, and what he trying to do is take David's manhood and make him shame to the point where he'll just do anything that he say. He using a fear tactic, and that's a penitentiary game. Like, you get a person so scared and so petrified that they'll do anything you say, and you know that person become your female dog. If you can pick up what I'm putting down. See, in prison, especially with a young guy, somebody always want to be like over you. Now, some people didn't do it. Some people didn't take you up under their wing and try to treat you like a female dog. Some people take you up under their wing and just try to guide you and lead you through prison so you'll be all right, so you can survive. You know, they put you up on game about the type of games that some of these guys play. You know what I mean? So anyway, you know, it went on for a while, man. Then one day, David, he got tired of it, bro. Like, I guess he realized, like, man, this man trying to treat me like I'm a female, like I'm his bitch or something. You know what I mean? And so in prison, the rules is you gotta let people fend for themselves, learn on their own, and handle their own business. That's the rule in prison. But you got some guys like me, like, you know, I'm gonna tell you, like, bro, you can't do that. You know what I mean? So, but I ain't just tell him, like, you know, don't be doing that for him. Don't be doing, because, you know, I'm trying to survive too. I mean, I ain't scared of no diddy G, but, you know, I don't want no issues. You know what I mean? And then, you know, I'm trying to see, like, is he gonna be a man? But that's a dangerous thing when a person get to the point where, you know, they realize you trying to make them something that they ain't, and everybody laughing at them and looking down on them. Don't nobody treat them with the same respect. That'll make a person go crazy and do something to you. And that's exactly what happened. So one day, No Diddy G was telling David to put some baby oil on his back. And David was like, man, I ain't putting no baby oil on your back. I ain't gay. I ain't no homosexual. You know what I mean? So No Diddy G was like, you a couple weeks ago, you was washing my back with soap. So what's the problem now? Put this oil on my back before I beat you up. And, you know, David was like, man, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So No Diddy G, he was doing it in a playful way. Started horse playing. You know, David, I guess he had already had in his mind that he was gonna do something to No Diddy G, because David, he had the lock in the sock tucked in his pants, and he had a tool in his pocket. So he took out the lock in the sock. Now I told y'all No Diddy G, he was kind of big. You know what I mean? So he took the lock in the sock, and No Diddy G grabbed his wrist, and, you know, he kind of took the lock in the sock, but he ain't see David because he was too busy, you know, grabbing the lock in the sock. He ain't see David pull out the tool. David pulled out that tool, and it's kind of like the story he told me. He hit him in the shoulder. I mean, the tool, he ain't had no real kitchen tool. He had something that like kind of broke off the fence, but that's still dangerous. But he hit him. He was hitting him in the shoulder. You know what I mean? And No Diddy G running around his zone. Get him, G. Get him, G. Get him, G. And you hear some guys, even his homeboy, like, no, you playing with that man. No, you playing with that man. So the officer in the top, cause we in an open bay, the officers can see directly on his own. So, you know, the officer stand up, she beating on the window, and then she get on the walkie-talkie. People come down there. No Diddy G fall off his own. He wasn't bleeding too bad, cause like I said, David had like a little something that was broke off the fence, so it didn't do too much damage. Had he hit him in the right places, then he, you know, he probably would have done some damage. But so they took No Diddy G out and cuffed up David, took him to the hole. And so that's how he got the name Lil Iron. And when Lil Iron got out the hole, bruh, see, in prison, a person can experience something, and even though he wasn't on that, like he wasn't on that, like he wasn't trying to get in no trouble. He was just trying to do his 10 years and go home. He ain't had but like 5 more years to go. But like once you get yourself in a situation, it's like a drug. You get that confidence, and then people all in your ear, treating you like, you know, like you the king, and you know you gonna slang that iron. You know what I mean? That's why they started calling him Lil Iron when he got out the hole, and they end up putting him down. They end up blessing him GD, bro. And Lil David turned up. But I gotta come back with part 2. to tell y'all what happened with Lil Iron when he got out the hole. But to the next story. No, wait a minute. Y'all I need at least 300 more subscribers. Y'all rock with your boy, man. I mean, I see the numbers. I see my shorts. My shorts be doing numbers, but my videos, my videos ain't doing numbers like talking about. So if you subscribed already, every time you see a story, make sure you like, make sure you comment, so it'll go out there in the algorithm. Every time you see a story, I don't even care if you don't like that particular story. Hit that like button, leave me a comment, say something. Give me a strong arm, give me a salute, say something. You know what I mean? So I can get out there in that algorithm, bro. But I appreciate everybody who's rocking with me. I've been working, so I haven't been dropping videos like I had been a couple weeks ago. But I'm gonna drop a video every day. And as soon as I get my camera set up like I want it, I'm gonna start going live at probably twice, maybe 3 times a week, and start doing my nights in solitary confinement, so I can start telling them stories when I was in solitary confinement. And so I had one guy hit me up a while back, and he was like, bro, man, I know this video long, but I gotta say this, and I'm gone. He like, bro, you be telling your stories like you got 20,000 views. I'm like, yep. I respond, I'm like, yeah. I said, you know, I'm just like that local rapper who just not starting off. When he on stage in the club and it ain't about 10 people out there, he gonna go hard for them 10 people. You know what I mean? So I don't care if it's 10 views. I'm just like that local rapper. I don't care if it's a sold out crowd. I don't care if it's 5 people out there. I'm gonna go hard. You understand me? So until the next story, coming back with Lil Iron in the morning. Y'all be smooth like shit.